Hello, I'm Reverend Leslye Dwight, the Minister of Social Justice at Community of Hope AME Church and the National Programs and Outreach Manager for the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation. And for today's inspirational thought, I want us to center in on the topic, no strings attached. That's right, no strings attached. Because you see, my brothers and my sisters, I think we can all agree that the worst kind of relationship that we can ever enter into are the type of relationships that come with strings attached. Come on, you're out there watching, you know what I'm talking about. The kind of relationships that say, if you do this for me, I'll do that for you. If you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. The ones where you have to take on additional burdens just to get what you actually want or need. Let's be honest, because those kind of relationships don't last long because they get strained and stressful real fast. You know, there is no equality in the type of relationship because there's always someone that holds a position of superiority versus the person who has to maintain a position of inferiority in that relationship. I'm talking about the entanglements and the situationships that come with strings attached. And I know, we're here to talk about voting today, not about relationships. But the problem that we have on our hands today is that we're being forced into a relationship with Georgia state legislators that have strings attached to them. The strings are voter suppression tactics that are aimed at holding our very right to vote hostage. That the problem is that our right to vote is an inherent right that already belongs to us, and it shouldn't be coming with strings attached. You have the right to vote, but you can't do it on certain Sundays. You have the right to vote, but you have restricted access when it comes to drop boxes. You have the right to vote, but you can only do it with acceptable identification. And by the way, if it's with an absentee ballot, you have to make your own copies and send it in to us. I'm talking about strings attached. And I've come today to lift up the moral obligation that we must say no more strings attached. I've come to remind you that we have a moral obligation to protect our vote. Proverbs 31 instructs us to speak out on behalf of the voiceless and on behalf of the rights of the vulnerable. And today I want to tell you that the voiceless and the vulnerable that we're speaking out on behalf of are the thousands of voices who will be silenced by the barriers blocking access to their right to vote. The vulnerable that we are speaking of today are those that have the ability to lose their right to say who speaks on their behalf. Those that we are speaking out on behalf of today are those who will lose their ability to weigh in on every decision that impacts their quality of life. We who are the community of faith follow in the footsteps of a servant leader who led with no strings attached, one whose very life was spent coming to the defense of the marginalized, the oppressed, and the outcast, one whose sole purpose was to come to level the playing field and set the captives free. And so the call today for the members of faith and for those of you who are watching is that we must tell our Georgia legislators that we want voter protection bills and not voter suppression bills. We must tell our Georgia legislators that when it comes to our voting rights, that we want no strings attached. Our freedom demands it, our liberty depends on it, and the protection of our vote requires it. God bless you.